Hello and Happy New Year. I hope you had a nice Christmas. So, I'm back and I have to move the boat. I'm somewhere in London. I think it's Greenford, but I'm not entirely sure. I have Linda to move and I have Georgia to move. On the 11th of December 2024, my mother passed away. She had been ill with cancer for 2 years, and it was an oral cancer, so unfortunately affected her jaw. I took the decision in early November to help my dad with her care. Me being a YouTuber and a freelance tour guide, I was able to cancel all my work and do that. The result of all of this is that nothing has been done on Linda since you last saw a Linda restoration video. Now it's time to get back to work. I forgot to install these things. Well, I've just realized that because I was away for the last 2 months, I have drained all the water out of the system. So I can disconnect this, disassemble the mixer, and put these in their rightful position. Oh my god, this thing is a nightmare. So I've been battling with this forever to try and get the adhesive to break free. We're just about getting there. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is... If this is how difficult it is to remove it with just the adhesive, this is a solid construction. Won't you break free? Come on. You can do it. There we go. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, it's never cured in there because it was obviously airtight. Holy moly, that stuff is strong. That thing is completely solid, so I've got access to it here. I'm just putting it around the edge, so if I ever have to take it off again, I can get a knife in and cut the seal. One job down, a million more jobs to do. Because I haven't worked for 2 months, I have no money. So that means I can't buy anything. However, I have tons of stuff. So out of this pile, there has to be a job I can do that does not rely another job to be done first. So for example, I can't complete the heating system unless I get radiators, but I can't put in radiators unless I have walls. So I need walls, but I can't do the walls until I clear all of this stuff out of the way, so I need to get rid of this stuff. It's really cold outside, but it's very sunny, so we can do some outdoor work. I need space. I've been sorting out bits of wood that I probably can live without. And we're going to do a big chopping up wood session for the fire. One of the problems I've been having is that I've been away for 2 months and everything's a little bit damp, but not a major way. But also the batteries in Georgia are a little worse for wear. So I'm rather hoping that they get charged up nicely over the day and we'll see the true extent of where my batteries are. They're lead acid batteries in here and they're about 4 to 5 years old, maybe 4.5 years old. And they were very, very cheap lead acid batteries when they were put in. So I'm a bit dubious about how good quality they were. So I found that they're not really holding a charge very well. However, thanks to the Jackery box, I've been able to maintain power in the boat because I can keep all the essentials running. When I mean essentials, I'm talking about my mobile phone and my computer and my iPad. I had a supply of coal at the beginning of the winter that was delivered, and that was the pallet. It was sitting over on the deck up there. I'm going to chop it up. In fact, I'm just going to stick a time lapse on and we'll have a pile of wood at the end of it. Cue the music! Everything I'm trying to achieve in this video is to return to a sense of order on the boat and clear up the mess. All the wood I think I can afford to chop up is now chopped up and bagged and got rid of, as in it's in storage. Now I've got to make this, but I need a workspace, and this is what my workspace looks like at the moment. First thing I can do is to get rid of these panels here by putting them back in the roof. The ceiling made from the wooden paneling is a temporary measure. There's a lot of work to be done on the roof before it's finished, but it's a good place to store the wood, up in the roof. These panels came down off the ceiling during the summer so that I could build the copper shower unit. Now that it's complete, I can put these panels up, but of course they don't fit. So now I'm having to cut them to size to make them fit. I keep saying that this is a temporary measure, really just to store them. What I mean is that all of them have to be taken down, they have to be cleaned up, stained, varnished or oiled, and then returned to position with lovely brass screws. Currently I'm using stainless steel screws to keep them in temporarily. I also have to put in a vent, and the skylight has to have a surround made. And the shower cubicle itself, well, I need to rebuild those panels so that they don't look like they've just been bisected by the walls of the shower unit. So that's all to come. Ooh, look how quick I am. I took some time to condense all the wood and to sort it out. So this is my new woodworking space. Got the fire on. It's time to start a project. The space is complete. We're ready to have some woodworking done. But first, about a year ago, I cut this out. This is smaller than the window, and that is because now we're going to fit it and make it the right size. This piece of wood goes in here. The pine battens are to create a foundation for the quality wood to be screwed into. This piece of wood goes up here. Now for a bit of hardwood. Bollocks. When I said I made the aperture smaller than it needed to be, clearly I was wrong. However, I am not concerned about the gap, because all of this is going to be covered in coving and it's going to be painted. second pair of hands right now would be very helpful. These stainless steel screws have a tendency to lose their head if you put too much pressure on them, as you're about to see. Pop! And now I have to dig out that broken screw because, well, do you see that gap? Okay, so I have been putting in the bits of wood underneath. It's been a bit of a hassle, but as you can see now, that lines up nicely there. This one lines up nicely there. The one on the bottom, well, that's going to be a much thicker piece of wood, which is similar to that. Oh, sorry, there it is, over there. And then this one is problematic because this was put in as part of the framing, but there's a big gap. That's okay, because I have a little piece of wood here, and that little piece of wood is going to get nailed in there, and then it acts as a spacer, and we're ready to go. Now that I have everything test fitted, I can remove all the excess and open this window up. Let there be light. Oh, it's dark. I have a tiny little problem, and it's the toilet in Georgia. It's full. Because I've been back and forth between the UK and Ireland, and mainly in Ireland, I lost track of the toilet filling up. Normally, I would use the toilet in Linda because I can pump it out, but also I can use the LSAN, which is pumping it into a tank and then dropping the tank over to what is effectively a toilet on the canal bank. But because I was away so much, I drained all the water out of Linda. So Linda's got no water, which means I can't use the toilet in Linda. This is full and it's miles away to a pump out. So I've decided, to hell with it. Let's fill up the water tanks on Linda so that I can use the toilet again. And then when the time's right, I'll get that pumped out. It does mean moving Georgia out of the way and taking Linda all the way down there to the tap to fill up the water. But it does mean I can leave the mast up. So I'm going for a little backwards cruise with Linda with the mast up. There's no wind. And then a little forward cruise back to this location full of water. Put Georgia over there. I have only one concern about making this maneuver, is that somebody would cruise by and nab my space while I'm away filling up. There's no wind whatsoever, so this should be easy. Going sideways. Well, the only steering I have is at the rear, so it's now in forward, pushing the boat that way, straightening it up. Straight. We're going straight, but straight for the bank. Okay, now we're pointing the other way. Hopefully, that'll balance out. Okay. Well, it looks like she's straightening up a little bit. No, too much. Moving again. Quick, grab it. Oh, we're behaving ourselves. We're actually going straight. The key to it with Linda is to do it really, really, really slowly, because there's a huge amount of mass to speed up and slow down and turn. Still going straight, sort of. this stage I give up. I think the propeller is creating a sort of torque steer, which is turning the boat in one particular direction. So it's going to have to get a boom and just push it out of the way. This works. The tank is filled up to about there, which is about a quarter of the way. I only need the toilet to work for about a week and a half, so that's plenty of water. I used my dinghy as a placeholder, but it didn't matter. There was nobody cruising anyway. Linda's toilet is now up and running. Both boats are nice and toasty and warm. Let's get back to fitting this window. Well, that's not dangerous. I've kept every piece of hardwood that I ever came across. And now I'm chopping it all up, putting it together, and making the window frames out of bits of oak and what I think is either teak or mahogany. In some cases, I'm mixing oak and teak together. And to make it look consistent, I'm using wood dye and a dark oak color. This brings us to the end of the video. I'm just placing these in position so you can see what the end result will look like. They need to be screwed in, and more importantly, there's 2 other windows that need to be done on the other side of the boat. That'll be for next week. Don't forget to click like and subscribe.